Welcome to Theory of Pets. I'm a passionate pet owner with a drive to help others like me uncover the truth about the pet industry and what goes on behind the scenes. I know it seems like the summer travel season may not come anytime soon, but most of us are dreaming for the days when we can get out of our homes and go back to life as normal. For a lot of us, that means taking some summer trips with our canine companions, or possibly even you might travel with a cat. I was looking into some different safety tips and things to share because that season is coming up, and I get a lot of questions, people asking, should they crate their dog while they're traveling? Should they use a harness and seatbelt? What are some travel tips to keep your dog safe while stopping at rest areas and things like that? So I was looking into that, and I thought, you know what, it would be really great to get somebody who works in the pet travel industry on the show to discuss that and answer some of these top questions that people are sending in. So I was able to talk to Mandie Sweetnam. She is the category manager for PetSafe's Travel and Access category, and PetSafe actually has been getting the same questions from a lot of their customers. So they've created some new products going into this travel season to try to help pet owners with that. So we'll talk about those products a little bit later on in the show, but some of the tips that Mandie shares are really great, and I wanted to share them with you guys as well. I asked her about traveling in a vehicle with pets and how dangerous it can be, and I wanted her to explain why it's important for pet parents to restrain their companions while driving. This is something that I'm asked about a lot. A lot of parents don't understand the importance of restraining a pet while they're in the vehicle, and a lot of people just don't know how to go about that. So Mandie told me that restraining your pet in a vehicle doesn't only protect them, it protects the other passengers, which is something, that's a viewpoint I don't think a lot of us would look at. In the case of an accident, all pet and human passengers should be buckled in with the appropriate crash-tested safety seats and harnesses to ensure that they don't get ejected from the seat, potentially causing injury to themselves and others. So if you think about it, in the event of an accident, if your pet goes bumping around the inside of the vehicle, not only is it pretty likely that they're going to get hurt themselves, but they're also going to be crashing into yourself and passengers, causing injury to others. So it's really just sort of a messy situation. I think one of the key points to take from that bit of advice from Mandie is to choose appropriate crash-tested products. If you were buying, say, a safety seat for your child, your young child, you wouldn't purchase a seat that had never been crash tested. You're going to be looking on the packaging, researching online, seeing if it's been crash tested, what the safety ratings are, maybe what different consumers or different organizations like Consumer Reports may have to say about that seat. The same can be said for your pets. If you're looking for a travel crate, if you're looking for a harness or a seatbelt for your dog or your cat, find one that has been crash tested. Do the research. Yes, they're more expensive. As with any product, better quality, it's always going to be more expensive, but that's something that's really key to keep in mind. Mandie also told me that restraining pets in the vehicle prevents driver distraction, which could actually be a cause for car accidents. If the driver has a pet in their lap, or if the pet's loose in the vehicle moving around too much, it takes the driver's attention off the road. So that can be equally as dangerous. Another reason that it's really important to just keep your pets restrained. They're safe, you're safe, and it's just better for everyone that way. So when shopping for a car harness, what are some features that owners should be looking for? This is a really important question for me as a consumer because there are so many options on the market now. It seems like with everything nowadays, the minute that, one is released, we have these copycat products on the market, and whether it's something like a harness or a car seat, or you get into things like pet toys, food, treats, things like that, there are just hundreds and hundreds of options to choose from. So when it comes to a car harness, what should you be looking for? Mandie said the most important feature when shopping for a car harness should be that it's crash tested, which I just mentioned. PetSafe does offer the Happy Ride car safety harness, which has been crash crash tested to the standards of the Pet Product Standards Council. Now, if you click the link below this podcast, there's more information about that, more information about the Pet Product Standards Council, and you can see what some of their standards are, what they're looking for when they test these products, as well as some other products that have passed those tests. Mandie also said that the test procedure was developed by the PPSC in conjunction with CalSpan, the test facility that maintains the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards. Again, more information on that below the podcast, but definitely those are two of the organizations that you really should be looking for and doing your research on when you're looking for a safety harness for your pet. And the most important thing that Mandie told me to be looking for as a consumer. So the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards, the FMVSS, number 213 is for child restraint systems and conducts all of the car seat performance tests for the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. And the Pet Products Standards Council, the PPSC, test procedure adapts this FMVSS 213's strict safety standards that are designed to protect children, and they take that and make them applicable for dogs. So it's really something that's important to look at if you're thinking about the strict standards that they use to protect small children in car seats, and these are being adapted to protect your dog. They're looking at the same things. The way that your dog is buckled into the car, is that safe? Is it going to be okay and keep them safe during an impact? So it's actually really interesting stuff to look into. It's kind of hard to get into it and explain it without having you get on the website. There's a lot of visual guides and other information on there that can help. So again, just take a minute, click the links below this video, do some research when you're looking for a dog harness, and these are some of the things that you really should be paying attention to. One of the most common questions that I'm asked from pet parents who travel frequently with their pet is what happens to a harness after it's involved in a crash. A lot of products that are designed to protect us during accidents, from motorcycle helmets to infant car seats, it is recommended that you replace those after a crash, and different companies will talk about the damage that it does to the interior of the product, and it actually takes away from its protective abilities once it gets into a crash. So they're always recommending that you replace these items. So I was wondering what happened to a harness when it's involved in a crash, and Mandie said that a harness that has not passed a crash test will show broken hardware and disconnected nylon after a car accident. It's dangerous because the failing harness releases the pet, causing them to become a projectile during the accident. But a harness that has passed a crash test may show slightly worn nylon or bent hardware from the impact, but the harness should remain or will remain intact. It has been tested to ensure that it remains intact, which keeps the pet safely restrained in the seat. So what do you do after an accident? If you've had an accident with your pet, the harness has kept them safe during the accident, do you continue to use that harness? And Mandie says no. Definitely do not ever use a car harness after it's been involved in an accident. While a harness may not display visible damage after an accident, PetSafe does recommend replacing it regardless to ensure the maximum strength is restored in the event that you get in another accident with your pet. Of course, we all hope that won't happen, but you never know, and it is better to be safe than sorry. For the minimal cost of a new harness, it's definitely better to ensure your pet's safety. If you follow my podcast or follow me on our sister site, Top Dog Tips, you will see in my writing and through my interviews that I really try to focus on companies. This is my job, but many times when I'm doing this job, I put on my pet owner hat and think about how I would do things or how I would want things done if I was the consumer looking at these products. So one of the things that I learned while doing my research about PetSafe is that they've just launched, it's called a car safety harness replacement program. And I asked Mandie to tell me a little bit about this because I really think it's a great program and I wanted to let other pet parents know about it as well. She said that just like a child's car seat, a dog's car safety harness should be replaced after any accident, like I just mentioned. If your dog's wearing a harness of any brand during a vehicle accident, so it doesn't have to be a PetSafe brand, it can be any brand, PetSafe will replace it with a crash-tested, certified Happy Ride safety harness for free. If you're involved in a car accident and your dog is wearing any brand of harness, they will replace it with one of their new Happy Ride harnesses for free. So I think that's a really great program for pet owners. When we're in an accident, typically there's going to be expenses involved. You may have medical bills, you're going to have car repairs. You obviously have some issues, if you have your pet in the vehicle, maybe they're injured, you have some vet bills. Thinking about replacing your dog's harness is definitely not going to be first on your list of things to do after a car accident. So for a company like PetSafe, who is so well known all over the world for their pet products, to step in and say, hey, it's the least we can do to help out and replace your dog's harness, I think that's a really great thing to show that they care about their consumers and the pets that they're making products for as well. All you have to do is file a harness accident claim form along with the police report number and a photo of the harness that's involved. So you can get on their website. Again, there's a link below the podcast for that, but it's www.petsafe.com/safety-harness-replacement. And so you sign on there. All you need, again, is the you have to file the claim, and then you have the police report number and a photo of the harness. And the new harness will be shipped within 15 business days once your claim is approved. So it's easy. And again, you just click that link below or go to that website and you can file it. It only takes a few moments to file it. And within a couple of weeks, your new harness will arrive. So it's pretty simple. I think it's just a really small thing that they can do to give back and to show us as consumers that, as a company, they do care about us, which is always nice to see. Finally, I just wanted to touch on some other products that might be beneficial. I think harnesses or restraints of some kind are kind of the top thing that comes to people's mind when they think about products that they'll need if they're going to be traveling with your pet. Whether you're going on a long road trip, maybe you're moving across the country, or you travel frequently with your pet, there's some things that you really should think about keeping on hand. Most of these products are a minimal cost, and they all, as long as you do your research and buy quality products, will last for a very long time. So you'll get a good value for your money as well. One of the things I always recommend is seat covers. This is something that I swear by between my children and my animals. It seems like the upholstery in my car is just destroyed all of the time. So I swear by seat covers. You can get the back seat covers that are more of like a bench style that cover the entire back seat. You can get my favorite type of back seat cover that I usually recommend if you have pets with you. It's called a Hammock style dog seat cover, and it goes over the back seat, but then it also comes up and loops around the headrest of the front seat. So the Hammock style will keep your dog confined to the back seat, even if he's on a leash and a harness attachment system seat belt that gives him a little bit of leeway to move around. You don't have to worry about him, being able to get up into the front seat or poking his head through, in between the seats or anything like that. And then it also keeps the back of your front seats clean from muddy dog paws and stuff like that. So I really love the Hammock style car seat covers, but obviously there are other types of car seat covers for the back seat, and then for the front seat, depending on the style, if you have bucket seats, you can get those, and bench seat covers for the front as well if you have a bench seat in the front of your vehicle. So again, PetSafe, the Happy Ride line that they've designed also includes a bench seat cover and bucket seat covers, so you can check those out on their website. Again, the link's just below the podcast. Another important product to have with you is a ramp or steps for your dog to get in and out of the vehicle that protects them from injury and unnecessary pain pain and damage to their joints from jumping in and out of a vehicle. So the Happy Ride ramp and steps, they offer both of those. And it depends on, the size of your dog, the weight, the size of your vehicle, all of that stuff. So keep that in mind when you're shopping for ramps and steps if you need to do some measurements and things before you start shopping. And then they also have a Happy Ride travel bag, which is really great. It's kind of a unique item. You don't often see a pet travel bag, which it can keep all of their accessories, things like food, water, toys, their walking harness, leash, anything like that, all in one place, which is nice to have. I know from traveling, especially for me, I travel with multiple pets, so it can be difficult to keep everything together and not, rolling under seats in the back or, getting misplaced somewhere along the way. So it's nice to have it all in one place like that. So you can check out the Happy Ride accessories and dog products, pet products on the PetSafe website, as I mentioned. Again, if you have been involved in an accident or you just want to bookmark that car safety harness replacement program, just for future reference, if you ever need it, you can do that as well. And for more information on the science behind safety testing for dog harnesses and things like that, definitely take a look below the podcast. Check that out. You can go to our website, theoryofpets.com, and there's more information there to get your research started and really kind of guide you in the right direction, because there is a lot of misinformation out there and there's so many sources. It's hard to sometimes tell where you should start and where you can look to find trusted information. So there's some information on our website that will get you started and give you those links to some really reputable sources. If you guys have any other questions while you're on the site, theoryofpets.com, be sure to leave any questions, concerns, anything, any kind of suggestions for future podcast episodes that you'd like to hear about on there. And while you're on there as well, it only takes a minute. If you could leave a quick review of the podcast, that's always helpful. If you're listening on iTunes or anything like that, it only takes a minute or two. You can leave a review, and then that helps me when I'm reaching out to experts in the industry to get them to come on the show. I can show them that you guys are out there listening and enjoying the podcast and you want to hear more. So be sure, if you have, again, any questions or suggestions, this podcast is as much for all of you as it is for me. I do enjoy doing the research and getting my own questions answered. But, for you guys too, all of these questions that you guys are sending in are great, because even if I know the answers to some of them, if you're out there and you have questions about your pet, about proper pet care, about really kind of off the wall things about your pet that you've just been wondering, maybe you feel like you're the only person out there, but you're not. If you have that question, there are dozens of other pet owners out there asking the same types of questions. So get those suggestions in for topics. I am happy to answer your questions and help other pet owners in the process. That's what this podcast is all about. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. I will be back with another hot topic very soon.